a national politics reporter with our partners at The Hill. Julia, thank you so much for being with me. So first of all, what did you see last night? How did these candidates try to ride any momentum that they were able to pick up from last night into these upcoming Iowa caucuses next month?
Yeah, look, Nichole, in terms of the candidates that have the most momentum, I think we need to first start with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Covering these past debates, he hasn't performed particularly poorly. He's done relatively well, but he hasn't gotten a chance to really stand out. And I think he got that chance last night, and he kept it focused on policy. He didn't get bogged down in the personal back and forth. He kept it on his policy. And as his campaign told me last night, he very much tried to focus on being, as they say, the most conservative person on stage. Nikki Haley clearly had the strategy of going into this debate and trying to be presidential, to rise above the fray. She's gotten some critique for maybe getting back into the background and being out of the spotlight, sort of, stepping away from that during the debate and not punching back as much. But I don't think that's necessarily a death knell to her at all. For Vivek Ramaswamy, look, he launched some very personal attacks, invoked policy, but didn't really get into the nitty gritty. And you saw Chris Christie very much call him out for these personal attacks. So I think that was definitely, you saw Chris Christie getting a lot of praise for that. But for Vivek Ramaswamy, it's hard to see where that line of attack really benefits him, particularly with Iowa and New Hampshire voters who want to hear, how someone is going to be in the White House, what sort of policy they're going to work on.
And Julia, you are there in Tuscaloosa at the site, University of Alabama, site of the debate last night. One person who wasn't there, Donald Trump, did not make the trip. He has yet to participate in any of the debates. But, as we see, he is still pulling far ahead nationally and, of course, in Iowa, where the focus is right now. Iowa's governor, we know, has endorsed Ron DeSantis. She says Iowa, tends to break late. What have we seen historically in that state?
Look, it's interesting talking to all of these campaigns who aren't the Trump campaign about what their strategy is going to be, because, yes, Iowa does absolutely break late. And we've seen, some wild cards like Ted Cruz winning the Iowa caucuses in 2016. However, the question I have about Iowa is, well, what comes next? How does a candidate that wins Iowa go to New Hampshire? We haven't seen that in the Republican primary since 2000, when George W. Bush won both states. And I think part of the reason for that is because Iowa is so socially conservative. And you have Ron DeSantis, understandably, trying to appeal to that social conservative evangelical voting bloc in Iowa. The problem is, going to New Hampshire, you're with a different Republican primary electorate. It's much more libertarian, much more moderate. So it's definitely a hard pivot for someone like Ron DeSantis, who's focused so much on Iowa. And the flip side is for Christie. He's focused so much on New Hampshire. Talking to DeSantis's campaign, they say, look, he'll have enough momentum going in to perform well in New Hampshire after performing well in Iowa. So we'll have to see. But if you look at the historical trend, it's hard to see how that really matches up with what's happening here.
Yeah, absolutely. I just talked to Bill right before you. He doesn't think we're going to see any candidates drop out before the end of the year. Do you think that it's possible we will see some decide, hey, I'm going to opt out, maybe throw my support behind someone else?
I think it's probably likely, and it's hard to say because anything can happen, but it's probably likely that Tim Scott and Doug Burgum are, the last candidates we'll see drop out in 2023. I think going into 2024, all of these candidates and these campaigns have money, and if they can spend it properly and that they can keep fundraising, they're going to stay in for as long as they can. And also, look, we're 6 weeks out, so I think we're at the point where maybe people are throwing everything plus the kitchen sink at the wall here when it comes to Iowa and New Hampshire. So I think they're definitely going to continue, particularly for Ron DeSantis, who has put everything in Iowa, or for Chris Christie, who has put everything in New Hampshire, for Nikki Haley, who's had a very broad approach when it comes to these primary states.
Julia, before I let you go, obviously we are focusing so much on the GOP side of things. I want to flip to the other side, though. We are at this point less than a year out from the presidential election. There is still talk that maybe President Biden will not be the Democratic nominee. Is there any indication it will be anyone but the current president?
Look, as of now, the president is indicating that he will run in 2024. He's shown no indication of that. His campaign is focusing its ire on Donald Trump, who is leading the Republican primary, clearly trying to create a Trump versus Biden scenario.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.